Old Money, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. There's a kind of wealth that doesn't need attention because it's already deeply rooted. Old money isn't about overnight success or flashy displays. It's about legacy, tradition, and the quiet elegance that only generations of wealth can produce. From the way they dress to how they carry themselves, old money individuals embody a calm, composed confidence that speaks volumes without saying a word. In this guide, we'll uncover 12 subtle but unmistakable things that instantly signal old money and why this timeless approach to wealth still commands respect in a noisy, fast-pacing world. Lesson 1. Timeless over trendy. Always. In the realm of old money, the pursuit of timeless elegance stands as an unwavering principle that transcends generations. This dedication to enduring style isn't merely about aesthetics. It's a philosophy deeply rooted in the understanding that true quality never demands attention, yet always commands respect. The old money approach to style begins with a fundamental appreciation for classical design elements that have remained relevant through decades, if not centuries. A well-tailored navy blazer, a perfectly pressed Oxford shirt, or a strand of real pearls aren't just items of clothing or accessories. They're investments in a personal presentation that will remain appropriate and elegant for years to come. These pieces work as well today as they did 50 years ago, and will continue to do so 50 years hence. This commitment to timelessness manifests in careful selection of materials and craftsmanship. Old money families understand that a cashmere sweater from a heritage manufacturer, while initially expensive, will provide warmth and style for decades when properly cared for. The same holds true for well-constructed leather shoes that can be resold multiple times, or a classic handbag that improves with age. These items aren't purchased with the intention of lasting a season, but rather with the expectation of being passed down to the next generation. The distinction between timeless and trendy becomes particularly apparent in how old money families approach their wardrobes. Rather than chasing the latest fashion fads or accumulating vast quantities of clothing, they invest in fewer, better pieces that serve specific purposes. A carefully curated closet might contain just a handful of suits or dresses, but each piece fits perfectly and is crafted from the finest materials. This approach not only ensures longevity, but also reflects a deeper understanding that true style isn't about having more, it's about having better. Color choices in the old money world similarly reflect this dedication to timelessness. Navy, camel, ivory, and gray form the foundation of a wardrobe that transitions seamlessly from season to season and year to year. These colors aren't chosen for their ability to grab attention, but rather for their versatility and enduring appropriateness in any setting. Patterns, when used, tend toward the classical, stripes, plaids, and subtle prints that have stood the test of time. Perhaps most importantly, the preference for timeless over trendy reflects a deeper set of values. It speaks to an understanding that true worth isn't found in the constant pursuit of the new, but in the appreciation of enduring quality. This mindset extends beyond clothing to encompass furniture, art, and even architectural choices. It's about creating and maintaining an environment that feels relevant and appropriate regardless of current trends. The old money approach to timelessness also acknowledges that true style should appear effortless. There's no need for obvious designer logos or trendy statements when the quality of materials and construction speaks for itself. This understated elegance comes from confidence in knowing that what you're wearing is appropriate, well-made, and will remain so for years to come. This dedication to timelessness over trends serves as both a practical and philosophical guide. It reduces the need for constant updating and replacement, while simultaneously creating a personal style that remains appropriate and elegant across decades. In a world increasingly driven by fast fashion and disposable trends, the old money preference for timeless pieces stands as a testament to the enduring value of quality over quantity and substance over surface appeal. Lesson 2. Understated watches, never flashy logos. In the realm of old money, timepieces serve as silent storytellers, marking not just hours but generations. A well-worn Patek Philippe or vintage Cartier tank on someone's wrist isn't merely keeping time, it's carrying history. These watches often come with stories of graduations, anniversaries, or professional milestones, passed down with the gentle reminder that one merely looking after it for the next generation. The old money approach to timepieces stands in stark contrast to the contemporary hunger for obvious luxury. While new wealth might gravitate toward diamond-encrusted bezels or oversized cases that demand attention, old money gravitates toward understated excellence. A slim profile, minimal complications, and classic styling characterize these choices. The value lies not in immediate recognition by others, but in the quiet confidence of wearing something exceptional that only true aficionados might notice. This preference for subtlety extends beyond just watches, to a broader aversion to visible logos and branding. Old money understands that true quality never needs to announce itself. The craftsmanship, materials, and heritage speak volumes without requiring a prominent logo. This is why you'll often find old money timepieces featuring clean dials, with any brand marking done in small, elegant text rather than bold emblems. The relationship between old money and their timepieces is also marked by longevity and care. These watches aren't replaced with each season's new model. They are maintained, serviced, and treasured. A scratched crystal or a slightly worn leather strap isn't seen as a flaw, but as character, evidence of a life well lived. This approach reflects a broader philosophy about possessions. They should be chosen carefully, maintained properly, and kept for life. The selection of a timepiece in old money circles often follows time-honored traditions. Certain occasions merit specific watches. A college graduation might call for a particular model, while entry into a profession might warrant another. These unwritten rules aren't about showing off. They're about maintaining traditions that connect generations through shared experiences and similar choices. What's particularly telling about old money watch collections is their diversity in age. You might find a contemporary Vacheron Constantin sitting alongside a mid-century Jaeger-LeCoultre, each with its own story and purpose. This mix demonstrates an appreciation for both heritage and continued excellence, without being bound to either the past or present exclusively. The true essence of an old money timepiece lies in its role as a future heirloom. Each watch is selected with the understanding that it will outlive its current owner. This long-term perspective influences everything from the initial choice to the way it's cared for. It's not uncommon for these watches to be serviced by the same watchmakers who have worked with the family for decades, maintaining not just the timepiece but the relationship as well. The old money approach to watches serves as a masterclass in the art of understated luxury. It's about choosing pieces that reflect quality, heritage, and personal significance rather than current trends or status symbols. These timepieces tell time, yes, but more importantly, they tell stories of family traditions, of milestones achieved, of values passed down. In a world increasingly dominated by disposable luxury and conspicuous consumption, these quiet champions of horological excellence remind us that true sophistication never needs to shout. Lesson 3. Worn leather that whispers heritage. The true hallmark of old money isn't in the gleam of the new, but in the stories etched into well-worn leather, a briefcase handed down from father to son, bearing the subtle scratches of countless board meetings and train journeys, a leather-bound journal that has recorded 3 generations of family thoughts. These pieces aren't simply accessories. They're physical repositories of family history, each mark and crease telling a tale of lives well lived. In old money circles, the patina of use isn't viewed as damage but as character, a visual testament to durability and permanence. The slight darkening around the handles of a vintage Gladstone bag, the softening of a wallet's edges, or the gentle wear on a horse saddle passed through generations. These are badges of honor rather than signs of degradation. This appreciation for aged leather stands in stark contrast to the contemporary impulse to replace items at the first sign of wear. The selection of leather goods in old money families follows a distinct philosophy. These items are chosen not for their immediate appeal, but for their potential to age gracefully and serve multiple generations. Traditional craftsmen, often European houses with centuries of expertise, are favored for their understanding of leather's living qualities. These artisans create pieces that just endure time but embrace it, developing richer colors and more supple textures with each passing year. Family leather collections often center around specific pieces that serve as milestones in a person's life. A young man might receive his first proper briefcase upon entering university, the same model his grandfather carried decades before. A debutante might be presented with a classic handbag that once belonged to her grandmother, its leather now butter-soft from years of elegant use. These traditions create tangible connections between generations, reinforcing family bonds through shared objects. The care of leather heirlooms is treated with near ceremonial importance in old money households. Children learn early the proper ways to condition leather, protect it from elements, and store it appropriately. This knowledge, passed down alongside the items themselves, ensures these pieces remain viable for future generations. The ritual of leather care becomes a meditation on family heritage, a quiet moment to connect with the past while preserving it for the future. Beyond their practical function, these leather goods serve as subtle signals within old money society. A well-worn leather attaché case speaks volumes about its owner's background in a way a new designer briefcase never could. The confidence to carry something visibly aged rather than pristinely new reflects a security in one's position that transcends the need for obvious displays of wealth. The appreciation for worn leather extends to the spaces old money inhabits. Library chairs with leather that's developed a rich patina over decades of use, riding boots that have molded perfectly to their wearer's feet, even the leather-bound books that line study walls all contribute to an atmosphere of accumulated history rather than instant acquisition. This environment reinforces the old money value of stewardship over ownership, the idea that one is merely caring for these items during their lifetime before passing them on. The romance of worn leather lies in its ability to absorb and reflect life itself. Each scuff and scratch represents a moment lived, a journey taken, a memory made. In a world increasingly dominated by the disposable and the digital, these tangible connections to the past become ever more precious. For old money families, worn leather isn't just about aesthetics or functionality. It's about maintaining a physical link to their heritage, one that grows richer and more meaningful with each passing generation. Lesson 4. Speaking with poise, not volume. True old money speaks in measured tones, carefully choosing words that reflect generations of refined communication. This distinctive way of speaking isn't about affecting an accent or mimicking aristocratic mannerisms. It's about conveying thoughts with clarity, diplomacy, and understated confidence. The hallmark of old money speech patterns lies in their measured pace. There's never a need to rush words or raise volume to command attention. Instead, words are delivered with deliberate timing, allowing each thought to land with precision. This unhurried delivery stems from a deep-seated assurance that one's words will be heard, an assurance born from generations of social standing. Vocabulary choices reveal much about one's background, but old money speech isn't about deploying complex words to impress. Rather, it's about selecting the most precise term for any given situation. The goal is clarity and accuracy, not ostentation. Those from established families tend to use words that have stood the test of time, avoiding trendy expressions or business jargon that might date their speech. Perhaps most telling is what isn't said. Old money conversations are marked by strategic pauses and thoughtful listening. These natural breaks in speech create space for others to contribute while demonstrating the speaker's comfort with silence. There's no need to fill every moment with sound, a trait that often betrays social insecurity. The art of diplomatic expression is another crucial element. Old money voices know how to disagree without being disagreeable, how to decline without causing offense, and how to navigate delicate social situations with grace. This skill comes from generations of handling complex social and business relationships where maintaining harmony was essential for preserving family connections and interests. Voice modulation plays a subtle but significant role. The old money voice typically maintains an even keel, rarely rising in excitement or dropping to a whisper for dramatic effect. This controlled delivery reflects the broader old money value of emotional restraint. Excitement is shown through word choice and subtle shifts in tone, rather than volume or dramatic variation. Grammar and pronunciation follow traditional forms, but not with rigid perfectionism. Old money speech allows for some natural variation and regional influence, acknowledging that true refinement doesn't require erasing all traces of geographical identity. What matters more is the consistent application of learned linguistic patterns that reflect education and cultural awareness. The old money approach to conversation also encompasses body language and timing. Gestures are minimal and purposeful, never grand or theatrical. Eye contact is steady but not intense, and physical space is respected. These nonverbal elements work in concert with speech patterns to create an overall impression of composed authority. At its core, speaking with poise reflects a fundamental old money principle. True power doesn't need to announce itself. The ability to command attention through quiet authority rather than volume or dramatic delivery is a skill passed down through generations, along with the understanding that how something is said often matters more than what is said. This principle continues to distinguish old money speech patterns in an era where loud, attention-seeking communication has become increasingly common. Lesson 5. Education as tradition, not just aspiration. In old money circles, education isn't merely a means to an end, it's woven into the very fabric of family life. From the earliest years, children are immersed in an environment where learning is as natural as breathing, where dinner table conversations seamlessly blend current events with historical perspectives, and where the pursuit of knowledge is celebrated not for its monetary value, but for its intrinsic worth. This educational ethos manifests differently from the modern rush to collect credentials. While academic excellence matters, old money families place equal emphasis on developing a broad cultural literacy that extends far beyond formal schooling. Children grow up surrounded by books, art, and music. They're taught to engage with ideas rather than simply memorize facts. Family vacations often revolve around cultural experiences, visiting museums, attending concerts, or exploring historical sites, creating an organic approach to learning that shapes worldview and character. The relationship between old money families and educational institutions often spans generations. Great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and children might all share the same alma mater, creating a legacy that goes deeper than mere tradition. These institutional connections foster a sense of stewardship rather than entitlement. Students aren't just passing through, they are part of an ongoing story, responsible for upholding family values while contributing to the institution's evolution. Yet the most profound education in old money households happens around the dinner table. These daily gatherings serve as informal seminars where children learn to articulate their thoughts, engage in respectful debate, and develop critical thinking skills. Adults don't shy away from complex topics, but rather guide young minds through nuanced discussions of politics, philosophy, and ethics. This practice creates people who are comfortable engaging with diverse ideas and capable of holding their own in any intellectual discourse. The old money approach to education extends well into adulthood. Learning is viewed as a lifelong pursuit rather than a phase that ends with formal schooling. Family libraries continue to grow, cultural subscriptions are maintained across generations, and intellectual curiosity is nurtured throughout life. This perpetual engagement with learning creates a depth of knowledge that manifests not in pretension, but in genuine wisdom and understanding. There is also a marked difference in how old money families view educational achievement. While they certainly celebrate academic success, they are more interested in how knowledge is applied than in the credentials themselves. The focus is on developing well-rounded people who can engage meaningfully with the world, rather than collecting degrees for status or professional advancement. This perspective often leads to more thoughtful career choices based on genuine interest and societal contribution, rather than solely financial reward. The cultivation of intellectual life in old money circles also encompasses social education. Children learn the art of conversation, the importance of proper etiquette, and the ability to move comfortably in various social settings. This social education isn't about superficial politeness, but about developing genuine empathy, understanding different perspectives, and maintaining dignity in all situations. What truly sets apart the old money approach to education is its emphasis on legacy. Knowledge, culture, and wisdom are seen as inheritance as valuable as any material wealth. Each generation is expected not only to preserve this intellectual capital, but to build upon it, creating a growing repository of wisdom that enriches family life and contributes to broader society. This approach produces people who are not just well-educated, but truly cultivated, capable of engaging meaningfully with both the past and the present, while thoughtfully considering the future. Lesson 6. Knowing when not to talk about money. In old money circles, the discussion of wealth holds a peculiar position. It exists as an unspoken understanding, like gravity, ever present, yet rarely acknowledged. This discretion isn't born from shame or secrecy, but rather from a deeply ingrained sense that speaking about money is simply unnecessary and, more importantly, uncouth. The old money approach to financial discourse operates on a simple principle. Those who have it don't need to talk about it. This creates a marked contrast with nouveau riche tendencies to discuss acquisitions, investments, or financial victories. In old money households, children learn early that questions about cost are inappropriate, not because money is taboo, but because value isn't measured in dollars and cents. This silence around finances extends beyond the family dinner table. At social gatherings, old money people skillfully deflect conversations about wealth, redirecting discussion toward shared interests, current events, or intellectual pursuits. They understand that true sophistication lies in making others feel comfortable rather than impressed. When forced to address financial matters, they do so with understated efficiency, treating money as a tool rather than a topic of fascination. The ability to navigate financial conversations with grace becomes particularly important in mixed social circles. Old money people often find themselves in situations where others might openly discuss salary increases, real estate values, or investment returns. Their response is neither judgment nor participation, but rather a gentle steering of conversation toward more substantive matters. This isn't elitism, it's a recognition that relationships built on financial comparison rarely endure. Teaching this discretion to the next generation presents a unique challenge in today's social media-driven world, where displaying wealth has become normalized. Old money families approach this by emphasizing the importance of privacy, not just around finances, but as a general principle of living well. Children learn that their family's resources are a responsibility rather than a source of social capital. The psychological security that comes with generational wealth plays a crucial role in this attitude toward money talk. When wealth is new, there's often an underlying need to affirm its existence through verbal acknowledgement. Old money's silence stems from a deep-seated confidence that requires no external validation. This security allows for a focus on more meaningful aspects of life: education, relationships, personal growth, and contribution to society. This doesn't mean old money families never discuss finances. Rather, they do so in appropriate contexts with relevant parties. Family meetings about inheritance, discussions with financial advisors, or educational moments with children about responsibility and stewardship. These conversations are handled with the same gravity as any other family business, privately, purposefully, and without fanfare. The art of knowing when not to talk about money extends to philanthropy as well. Old money donations often come without press releases or naming rights. This approach reflects a fundamental understanding that true giving seeks impact rather than recognition. It's this same principle that guides their broader approach to wealth. It's a means to an end, not a topic of conversation. In essence, old money's relationship with financial discourse reflects a broader philosophy about wealth itself. Money is viewed as a tool for creating opportunities, maintaining stability, and contributing to society, not as a personality trait or conversation piece. This perspective, passed down through generations, creates a distinctive approach to wealth that values discretion over display, substance over show, and character over capital. Lesson 7. Living in generational homes, not gated mansions. The true essence of old money lies not in sprawling modern estates or the latest architectural marvels, but in homes that have witnessed generations of family history unfold within their walls. These properties, often modest by today's luxury standards, carry something far more valuable than square footage or smart home technology. They hold the weight of time and tradition. Old money families understand that a home's worth extends beyond its market value. Their residences often occupy the same plots of land where their great-grandparents once walked, in neighborhoods that have maintained their character through decades of change. These homes might show their age through worn marble steps or creaking hardwood floors, but such imperfections are worn as badges of honor rather than signs of neglect. The interiors of these generational homes tell stories through every carefully preserved detail. Original moldings, inherited furniture arrangements, and family portraits spanning centuries create an atmosphere that no interior designer could replicate. Each room holds memories of holiday gatherings, important announcements, and quiet everyday moments that have shaped the family's narrative. The dining room table, scratched and marked by countless family meals, becomes more precious with each passing year. While modern luxury homes often prioritize impressive features and the latest amenities, old money residences emphasize continuity and preservation. Updates and renovations are approached with careful consideration, ensuring that any changes honor the home's original character. Modern conveniences are integrated discreetly, never allowed to overshadow the historical elements that give the house its soul. The location of these homes often reflects a deeper understanding of social capital. Rather than seeking isolation behind gates and security systems, old money families typically reside in established neighborhoods where their ancestors formed meaningful community connections. These areas might not be the most expansive or exclusive by current standards, but they carry a social significance that newer developments cannot match. The gardens and grounds of generational homes particularly reflect this philosophy of stewardship over showmanship. Ancient trees planted by great-grandparents provide shade for current generations, while traditional landscaping designs remain largely unchanged. These gardens aren't meant to impress passers-by, but rather to provide continuity and connection to the land. Perhaps most telling is how these homes are maintained. Unlike the constant upgrades and renovations seen in newer wealth circles, old money families focus on preservation and careful upkeep. They understand that their role is not to remake the home in their own image, but to maintain it for future generations. This approach extends to the furnishings and decorations, where family pieces are restored rather than replaced, and new additions are chosen for their ability to blend seamlessly with the existing character of the home. The relationship between old money families and their homes transcends mere ownership. It's a sacred trust. These properties are viewed not as assets to be leveraged or upgraded for profit, but as vessels of family identity that must be protected and preserved. This perspective shapes everything from maintenance decisions to how spaces are used, creating environments that feel deeply authentic and lived in rather than staged or showy. In an era where real estate is increasingly viewed through the lens of investment and status, these generational homes stand as testament to a different set of values. They remind us that true luxury isn't found in the newest, biggest, or most technologically advanced spaces, but in homes that have sheltered generations and will continue to do so for generations to come. Lesson 8. Discretion in everything, especially wealth. In the age of oversharing and digital exhibitionism, true old money families stand apart through their steadfast commitment to privacy. This discretion isn't merely about protecting financial information. It's a deeply ingrained cultural value that touches every aspect of life, from social interactions to personal accomplishments. Old money families understand that privacy itself is a form of wealth, perhaps even more valuable than material assets. They operate on the principle that those who know don't tell, and those who tell don't know. This manifests in their careful approach to information sharing, whether it's about their children's schools, their vacation destinations, or their philanthropic endeavors. They recognize that discretion isn't just about maintaining mystique, it's about preserving the family's security and social position. The rise of social media has created a fascinating dichotomy between old and new money behaviors. While newly wealthy people often feel compelled to document their luxuries and achievements online, old money families typically maintain minimal digital footprints. Their social media accounts, if they exist at all, are private and curated with extreme care. Photos are chosen not to showcase wealth, but to capture meaningful moments, and posts are sparse and thoughtful rather than frequent and flashy. This commitment to privacy extends to how they handle personal matters. Family celebrations are intimate affairs rather than lavish public spectacles. Weddings, while elegant, are rarely featured in society magazines unless there's a compelling historical or cultural significance. Business dealings are conducted quietly, and successful investments are discussed only within trusted circles. Even family achievements are celebrated with restraint. There's no need for public validation when internal family recognition carries more weight. The old money approach to privacy also serves as a practical security measure. By maintaining a low profile, these families protect themselves from unwanted attention, potential security threats, and the complexities that come with public scrutiny. They understand that wealth preservation isn't just about financial management, it's about protecting the family's ability to live authentically and securely. Professional relationships are handled with equal discretion. Old money families often work with the same advisors, lawyers, and financial managers for generations, building relationships based on mutual trust and confidentiality. These professionals become de facto guardians of family privacy, understanding that their role includes protecting not just assets, but also information. Children in old money families are taught the value of discretion from an early age. They learn to be mindful of what they share with peers, understanding that their family's privacy is a collective responsibility. This education extends to their use of technology and social media, where they're taught to be particularly cautious about sharing information that could compromise family security or privacy. Perhaps most notably, old money families apply this principle of discretion to their charitable giving. While they may be significant donors to various causes, they often prefer to remain anonymous or minimize public recognition. This approach reflects a genuine belief that good works should be done for their own sake, not for social acclaim or tax benefits. The practice of discretion in old money circles isn't about being secretive or antisocial. It's about maintaining boundaries and preserving what matters most. It's a recognition that true wealth isn't just financial. It's the ability to live life on one's own terms, away from the prying eyes of public scrutiny. In a world where privacy is increasingly scarce, this old money value becomes not just a social preference, but a form of luxury itself. Lesson 9. A family crest, not a follower count. The weight of history carries more significance than the fleeting validation of social media metrics in old money circles. A family crest, whether emblazoned on signet rings, letterhead, or carved into ancient mantles, represents centuries of heritage, accomplishment, and responsibility. These heraldic symbols serve as silent reminders of the duties and expectations passed down through generations. Unlike the constant pursuit of digital approval that characterizes modern status seeking, old money families draw their sense of identity from deeply rooted historical connections. Their crests and coat of arms tell stories of ancestral achievements, alliances, and values that have guided family decisions for centuries. These symbols aren't displayed for public consumption, but are integrated into private family traditions and ceremonies. The practice of maintaining and honoring family heraldry extends beyond mere decoration. It represents a commitment to upholding the principles and reputation that previous generations worked to establish. Children grow up learning the meaning behind each element of their family crest, understanding that they are temporary custodians of a legacy that will outlive them. This focus on hereditary symbols stands in stark contrast to today's emphasis on personal branding and digital presence. While social media influencers chase algorithms and engagement metrics, old money families remain largely invisible online. Their influence flows through established channels, private clubs, boardrooms, charitable foundations, and time-honored institutions. Their network consists not of followers, but of relationships cultivated over generations through shared experiences, values, and mutual trust. The preservation of family heraldry also reflects a broader philosophy about the nature of influence and reputation. Old money understands that true significance isn't measured in likes or shares, but in the lasting impact one makes on their community and the world at large. Their crests represent not just past glory, but ongoing responsibility, a visual reminder that each generation must prove worthy of the name they carry. This appreciation for historical symbolism extends to how old money families document and preserve their histories. Rather than curating perfect Instagram feeds, they maintain extensive family archives, photographs, letters, diaries, and documents that tell the real story of their lineage. These private collections serve as authentic records of family history, untouched by the need for public consumption or approval. Even in families where formal heraldry may have faded, the principle remains. Identity comes from within and from above, not from without. It's about belonging to something larger than oneself, something that extends both backward and forward in time. This perspective shapes how old money approaches everything from career choices to personal relationships, always with an eye toward sustaining and enriching the family legacy. The contrast between a family crest and a follower count illustrates a fundamental difference in how old money views success and validation. While new money often seeks immediate recognition and public acclaim, old money focuses on the subtle art of lasting influence. They understand that true significance often operates below the surface, like roots that run deep and wide, providing stability and nourishment without drawing attention to themselves. The lesson here isn't about the specific symbols or traditions, but about the underlying values they represent: continuity, responsibility, discretion, and the long view of history. In a world increasingly driven by immediate gratification and public performance, old money's emphasis on lasting heritage over fleeting popularity offers a compelling alternative perspective on what truly matters. Lesson 10. Quiet philanthropy over public praise. True old money families understand that genuine philanthropy stems from a deep-seated sense of social responsibility rather than a desire for recognition. Their approach to giving is as understated as their approach to wealth itself, often spanning generations of support for institutions, causes, and communities that have meant something to the family. These families typically establish private foundations or give anonymously, focusing on sustainable, long-term impact rather than splashy one-time donations that generate headlines. Their philanthropic work often begins at home, in the communities where their wealth was first generated, maintaining a connection to their roots while acknowledging the role these places played in their success. The old money approach to giving emphasizes relationship building over recognition. Rather than attending high-profile charity galas or ensuring their names grace building facades, these families tend to work quietly behind the scenes. They serve on boards, mentor next-generation leadership, and provide strategic guidance to organizations they support. Their involvement often spans decades, creating deep institutional knowledge and genuine connections that transcend mere financial support. Education frequently stands at the heart of old money philanthropy, with families supporting scholarship programs, research initiatives, and institutional development. However, unlike new money donors who might demand naming rights for their contributions, old money families often prefer their support to remain unmarked or attributed to the family's foundation rather than individual members. This discreet approach to giving extends to how they discuss their philanthropic work. Rather than broadcasting their donations on social media or in press releases, they share information selectively, usually only when necessary to inspire others to join a cause. They understand that true impact often happens quietly, through consistent support and careful stewardship, rather than grand gestures and public announcements. Old money families also tend to involve multiple generations in their philanthropic efforts, using giving as a way to instill values and teach financial responsibility. Children and grandchildren often start participating in family foundation work early, learning to evaluate proposals, understand community needs, and make thoughtful decisions about resource allocation. This multi-generational approach ensures the family's philanthropic traditions continue while adapting to contemporary challenges. The focus remains steadfastly on the work itself, rather than the recognition it might bring. These families understand that true satisfaction comes from witnessing positive change, not from public accolades. They measure success not by the size of their donations or the publicity they generate, but by the sustainable impact their support creates over time. This philosophy stands in stark contrast to modern philanthropy's often performative nature, where charitable giving can seem more like marketing than genuine social commitment. Old money families view philanthropy as a quiet obligation, a natural extension of their privileged position in society, rather than a tool for social climbing or reputation management. In essence, old money philanthropy embodies the principle that the most meaningful giving often happens without fanfare. It's about creating lasting change through careful, considered support rather than quick fixes or headline-grabbing donations. This approach reflects a deeper understanding that true wealth carries with it a responsibility to contribute meaningfully to society, not to gain social capital or public praise. Lesson 11. Old friendships over new fame. True wealth lies not in the number of connections one can accumulate, but in the depth and longevity of genuine relationships cultivated over generations. Old money families understand that authentic friendships, maintained through decades of shared experiences, carry far more value than a rotating carousel of trendy acquaintances or social media followers. These enduring relationships often begin in childhood, forged in private schools, summer camps, and family gatherings that bring together children of similar backgrounds. As these friendships mature, they become an intricate web of mutual understanding, shared values, and unspoken trust. Unlike the transactional nature of many modern relationships, these bonds aren't based on what one party can do for another, but rather on a shared history and genuine affection that transcends professional or social utility. The old money approach to friendship emphasizes quality over quantity. While new money might chase celebrity associations or collect influential contacts like trading cards, old money families maintain smaller, tighter circles that have weathered time's tests. These friendships often span multiple generations, with children becoming friends just as their parents and grandparents were before them. This creates a rich tapestry of interconnected families who share not just memories, but values, traditions, and a common understanding of discretion and loyalty. Within these circles, there's an unspoken code of mutual support that goes beyond mere social pleasantries. When challenges arise, these friends step in quietly and effectively, without the need for public acknowledgement or reciprocation. It's not uncommon for business deals, marriages, and other significant life events to be facilitated through these long-standing connections, though such arrangements are never discussed openly or leveraged for social capital. The maintenance of these relationships follows a distinctive pattern. Regular dinner parties in private homes rather than trendy restaurants serve as the backdrop for maintaining these connections. Annual gatherings at summer houses, holiday celebrations, and family milestones provide the rhythm for these enduring friendships. Unlike the documented social lives of the nouveau riche, these interactions remain private, unphotographed, and away from public scrutiny. There is also a marked difference in how old money approaches new relationships. While they're not closed to forming new connections, there's a natural caution and gradual acceptance process. New friendships are tested by time and circumstance before being fully embraced into the inner circle. This measured approach ensures that relationships are based on genuine compatibility rather than temporary convenience or mutual benefit. The value placed on old friendships extends to business relationships as well. Old money families often work with the same law firms, financial advisors, and service providers for generations. These professional relationships evolve into something more personal over time, built on a foundation of trust and shared history that no amount of aggressive marketing or networking could replicate. In an age where influence is often measured by follower counts and social media engagement, old money's emphasis on long-standing personal relationships might seem antiquated. However, this approach has proven its worth through generations of social and economic changes. These enduring friendships provide a stable foundation that no amount of trending connections can match, offering emotional security, social continuity, and a sense of belonging that goes far deeper than any digital network could provide. True to their nature, old money families understand that meaningful relationships, like fine wine, improve with age. They recognize that the ability to maintain lifelong friendships speaks volumes about one's character and values. In a world increasingly driven by temporary connections and digital relationships, the old money preference for sustained, genuine friendships stands as a testament to the enduring value of authentic human connection. Lesson 12. Legacy always comes before luxury. In the realm of old money, legacy transcends the mere accumulation of material possessions. It's a philosophy that guides every decision, from the smallest daily choices to life's most significant crossroads. While new money often rushes to showcase success through conspicuous consumption, old money families understand that their greatest wealth lies in what they pass down through generations, and it's rarely about the monetary value. This mindset manifests in seemingly counterintuitive choices that might perplex outside observers. An old money family might live in a modest historic home rather than upgrade to a sprawling modern estate, prioritizing the preservation of family history over contemporary luxuries. They might drive well-maintained older vehicles instead of the latest sports cars, recognizing that reliability and longevity trump flash and status. Their children might attend the same schools their great-grandparents did, not because they're necessarily the most expensive or prestigious, but because they represent a continued thread in the family's narrative. The preservation of legacy extends beyond physical assets to encompass values, traditions, and social responsibility. Old money families often maintain detailed records of their history, not to boast about past achievements, but to ensure future generations understand their place in a longer story. Family recipes, photographs, letters, and diaries are treated with the same reverence as financial instruments. These artifacts serve as tangible links to previous generations and remind current family members of their duty to maintain and build upon their inheritance. This commitment to legacy manifests in business decisions as well. While new money might chase quick profits or trending investments, old money tends to think in terms of decades or even centuries. Family businesses are often preserved even when selling might be more profitable, understanding that these enterprises represent more than balance sheets. They're repositories of family knowledge, expertise, and reputation built over generations. Education in old money families reflects this priority of legacy over luxury. Rather than viewing education solely as a path to career success, it's seen as a means of preparing the next generation to be worthy stewards of the family legacy. Children are taught family history alongside academic subjects, learning about their ancestors' contributions to society and the responsibilities that come with inherited privilege. The focus on legacy also shapes philanthropy. Instead of making splashy donations for immediate recognition, old money families often establish long-term charitable foundations, or maintain generations-long relationships with specific causes. They understand that true impact requires sustained commitment rather than occasional grand gestures. These philanthropic efforts often become integral parts of the family identity, with subsequent generations expected to maintain and expand upon these commitments. Social relationships in old money circles are similarly governed by legacy considerations. Friendships and business partnerships often span generations, with families maintaining connections that their great-grandparents established. These relationships are valued not for their potential to advance social status or create business opportunities, but for their role in maintaining the social fabric that supports and sustains family legacies. Perhaps most importantly, the prioritization of legacy over luxury creates a different relationship with wealth itself. Money is viewed not as a personal achievement to be celebrated and displayed, but as a responsibility to be managed and preserved for future generations. This perspective fosters a natural restraint in spending and a focus on sustainable wealth management rather than conspicuous consumption. It's understood that each generation's primary duty is not to accumulate more, but to ensure that what exists is preserved and enhanced for those who will follow. This deep-seated understanding that one is part of something larger than oneself, a continuum that stretches both backward and forward in time, creates a distinctive approach to life that sets old money apart from mere wealth. It's an acknowledgement that true luxury lies not in what you can acquire for yourself, but in what you can preserve and pass on to future generations.